Hi, and welcome to our virtual gardening program. My name is Diane Jaroch, and I'm the Assistant Director and Adult Services Librarian at the Irvin L. Young Memorial Library in Whitewater, Wisconsin. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about what you need to gather together so that you can get ready and plant some seeds indoors. It's really great to grow your own seeds. It saves you a little bit of money, and it's really rewarding. The supplies you need are pretty simple. You need seeds. You need some soil, containers, light, water, and some heat. Containers you don't have to be too picky about. You can get free containers from gardening centers that have the divided slots. Those are great. You can reuse containers from the year before, or you can come up with your own containers at home. Now, if you're going to be using your containers that you've used before, you do want to make sure that you disinfect them well because they can harbor plant pathogens. So to do that, you would disinfect them well in a mixture of bleach water or other disinfectant. Just follow the directions on the package to tell you how much of the disinfectant or bleach to use in how much water. Otherwise, containers, like I said, you can get them free and cheap at a gardening center, or you can come up with your own. I've been collecting some containers here at home. I have some plastic containers that had mushrooms in them. This is a little deeper. I've got some other smaller containers, trays that will work. And egg cartons. Egg cartons work really nice. I've got both the cardboard egg cartons and I have the styrofoam. Once you decide what containers you're going to use, you want to make sure that they have a drainage hole in the bottom. So like for the egg cartons or even the plastic containers, you could use a nail or something to make a hole, or a hole punch if you have a hole punch. And the reason you want to make sure that you have the drainage is so that your seeds don't get moldy and that your plants don't get mold at the base when they're growing. Ideally, you would like to have containers that are divided, which is why the egg cartons work really well. And the reason for this is that you don't want the seedling roots to get entangled with each other. So if they're in individual containers, that won't happen. Now, if you don't have the egg cartons and you just have like the plastic trays that I have, you can solve that problem. You can take your toilet paper roll or paper towel rolling and cut it down and create your own little individual containers. Then you would just put your soil in there and your seed, and you wouldn't have to worry about the roots entangling with each other. If you're growing onions or leeks, you don't have to worry about that. You can grow them in a tray or container altogether because they aren't too picky. When you go to transplant them outside, you'll be able to get enough root out of each one to plant them and get a good growth. We have our containers. Once you have your containers and you get ready to plant, you've got your soil in here, you'll want to put this inside another tray just to keep the water will leak out when you water it, and then that'll keep it from getting all over everything. Seeds. You need seeds. I've got quite a few seeds here that I've acquired. You can buy seeds. You can buy them at hardware stores. You can buy them at like Walmart, Target, anywhere like that. You can get it seed catalogs. I've got a couple here. This is Seed Savers Exchange. They've got good quality seeds. Really fun to look through, a lot of fun things you'll look through and go, oh yes, I need those. I definitely need to purchase those seeds. There's also Young Seed Company. Again, good quality seeds. So it doesn't really matter where you get your seeds. You just need the seeds to grow. You need your containers, you need your seeds, and you need some soil. Now, the soil that you want to get a commercial mix that is half peat moss and half vermiculite. And the reason for that is the peat moss keeps the soil aerated and it improves drainage, And the vermiculite improves water retention and will help keep the moisture levels evenly balanced. So that's very important when you're starting your seeds from scratch at home. So you want to get a commercial mix of soil. You want your containers. Get your seeds. You want to make sure you have some water. You want to keep the seeds moist when you're starting out. They need to be moist at all times, but not overly wet. You would probably spray them every day to keep them moist. Now, it's ideal to have a good lighting source and also a good heating source. So when you have your seeds, you want light. They need 12 to 14 hours of light a day, and heat. So some people buy heating pads, special heating pads, heating mats for their plants, and you would put that on the heating mat. And then your light source. You could also keep these on top of your refrigerator. That would create a nice heat source. You don't want to put your fresh seedlings like in a windowsill, directly in the windowsill, because even though good sunlight and warm during the day, those temperatures are still dropping at night, and that would be too cold for those seedlings. They need kind of like an even temperature, even warmth from the bottom and nice light from the top. That is ideal when you're planting the seeds. Now, you may have some old seeds at home and you're like, oh, well, how do I know if they're going to be any good this year? Well, let me tell you, I have a trick for that. You can check the germination of your seeds. To do that, you need some paper toweling, plastic bag, and some water. And your seeds. Don't forget your seeds. So I have some seeds here, and these are from 2018. So that was 3 years ago, and I don't know if they're any good. And these are snap peas. So to find out if they're good or not, and you can do this with any of your seeds. I'm going to move my book here so it doesn't get wet. Take 2 paper towels. So I just took the 2 and folded them. And you're going to dampen them. Just spray it, get it wet so that it's wet but not too wet. If you stick your finger in it and the water pools, then you know that you've added too much water to it. We're going to get that damp, and I have one here that I dampened earlier. So I'm going to use that one because it was the right amount of dampness. So let's take this. We're going to lay it down just like that. And we're going to take our seeds. You should do at least 5 seeds for each packet. So you do have to sacrifice a few seeds, but to find out if they're still good, it's worth it. Otherwise, you could be planting them and nothing would happen. So we'll get our seeds. And here I've got 5 seeds. We'll get another one since that one rolled away. And then you're just going to lay them in a row, an inch apart. If they're bigger seeds, an inch and a half. Leave an inch at the top of your paper toweling. So I'm going to do 2 rows here. I'm going to go ahead and do 6 seeds because then it's just going to be even. So you have your seeds on your dampened paper towel. You take the bottom and you fold up the middle. Fold in to the left side, fold in to the right side, leaving that inch at the top. Now you have your seeds folded in there, so they're kind of sandwiched in there. And then you put them in a baggie. You want to use a Ziploc bag because you want to keep it moist. Put that in there and close it up. You will need to check these every day because you'll probably need to spritz it with some water to keep it moist. After 3 days, check the seeds to see if anything's happening because after 3 days, the germination could be starting. So check it every day for dampness. Check it after 3 days to see if you have anything happening. You'll want to put the date on there, very important, so that you know what day you started. So today is the 5th, so we have March 5th. I've got my seeds. Now you want to put this somewhere warm. Top of your refrigerator again, or the top of a computer tower if you have a computer tower. Also, some seeds need to be put in cold for 24 hours first, so you just need to read the back of your seed packet to find out how the seed wants you to proceed and what the germination process is. Also, follow this, so after 3 days you're checking it, and if you find any that are moldy or just don't seem right, go ahead and get rid of those. But then the germination period. For this, it says 7 to 15 days is a germination period. So after 7 days, I should be seeing something. If after 15 days there's no growth, then you know that those seeds aren't going to help you at all. So there's no sense in planting them. Now, once you have the germination process, let's say it worked, you found out after 15 days you had some sprouting, then you need to do a little bit of math to find out the percentage of germination. So for that, you would take how many healthy seedlings. So I planted 6. Let's say I had 5 healthy seedlings. Take that number 5, I have 5 healthy seedlings, times 100, and that will equal your germination, so you know the percentage. So an example would be, let's say I did 25 seeds and I had 20 healthy sprouts, so the germination rate would be 80%. So then that's pretty good. But that's a way to check your old seeds. Instead of just tossing them, do a quick little germination test, and then you can find out if they're worth planting or not. Now, when you're planting your seeds, another thing that you need, besides the things I mentioned, is you also need something to put the name on, because you're going to have all of these seeds and all of these trays. You're not going to remember what you planted where. You could write it on here, that's fine. You can use, like I have here, a little popsicle stick, and I put tomato on there so that I know that's going to be my tomatoes. You can use anything. I've got this stick here, and I just wrote beans on it. Whatever you have will work just fine. Again, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You can use things that you have at home. Now, the library has some wonderful books on growing seeds, and we also have some growing seed guides. I just put some out this past week, and so if you go into the library, look for where the seed catalog is. We have it in an old card catalog, and I put the brochures right there, and you'll see it'll say how to grow seeds, and it's a really nice, easy guide to follow. I recently purchased this book for the library, and I enjoyed it so much that I got it for myself. It's a comic book, Growing Food. It's written by a horticulturist, so every information in here is very accurate, and I found this very helpful. For instance, it tells you which seeds are easiest to grow. It gives you a list, seeds that are easy to grow. The premise of the book is it's a young girl who has never grown vegetables before, and her neighbor, who is an old pro at it, tells her how to go about doing it, explains everything to her, and she ends up having a wonderful garden. So some of the seeds that are easiest to grow are green beans, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, kale, zucchini, and Swiss chard. Now, if you're growing your vegetables, you may as well go ahead and grow some herbs. They're easy to grow. They're very expensive to buy at the grocery store, the dried herbs. So if you make your own and you have fresh herbs for cooking, some easy to grow herbs are parsley, oregano, thyme, rosemary, chives, basil, and mint. And when you're planning out your garden, think about growing some zinnias, some flowers. And you're like, I don't like flowers. Why would I grow flowers? I tell you why. Zinnias, they attract the birds and butterflies. I mean the bees and butterflies. They attract birds too, but they attract the bees and butterflies, and the bees will help pollinate the flowers and your plants. So very friendly. You've got your flowers, your vegetables, your herbs, and you got your flowers, your zinnias, which will help attract the bees for pollination. Another thing to think about before you get ready to prepare to plant your seeds is when to plant them. You need to know what your frost is in the area that you're at. I checked ours in this area, and you need to plan that our frost will last from October 2nd to May 10th. Chances are by April 24th there might not be any more frost, but you don't want to bet on that. So plan that between October 2nd and May 10th, we could have a frost. A way to find out about that is to go to some websites or find out in a book. I went to a website that was called, well, let me find it for you because I was very impressed because it gave me a chart. It told me exactly what vegetable to plant when. It is called awaytogarden.com, and the person who runs it, her name is Margaret Roach. You can also go to the National Gardening Association, garden.org, or the USDA Hardiness Zone Map, planthardiness.ars.usda.gov. So that's a government site, so you know the information on there will be correct. Or go to the National Weather Service, weather.gov. But I really did like that, awaytogarden.com, because she had the chart, and you could put in your zip code, find out when frost was expected, plug that into the chart, and then she gave you a chart of all your vegetables, when to start them indoors, when to plant them outdoors. Very helpful. Here's the visual for you. See this book? This book is wonderful. It had so much information, I just had to order it for myself. So those are the things to think about when you're getting ready to plant your seeds. And on our next virtual gardening program, we will be actually planting the seeds. So I will go over some of this more, and we will talk about soil a little more. So that is what you need. Again, let's go over it. You need containers, you need soil, you need water, you need light, you need heat, and you need something that's going to tell you what you planted so you don't forget. Have fun. Don't forget to get some seeds. It's always fun to go shopping for seeds. If you have the old seeds, don't forget to do your little germination test. And stop by the library and pick up the guide that I put out for you. That will be very helpful. It gives you step-by-step instructions. And again, check out the books we have at the library. We've got quite a few. And we have this one, Growing Food. Thank you for joining me. Join me next time when we will be actually planting the seeds. That is really exciting because that means spring is coming and then summer.